Morning, John. Here we are, another day in paradise. I always started off with that. It's kind of neat. We're heading into the end of this fishing season. It's the end for us good weather fly fishermen. We have a lot of people that get just as excited over winter fishing as the spring summer fishing. It's very neat. I've watched it over my life when I was a kid. I'm 76 today. When I was young in the early 50s or late 40s, we'd go trout fishing, and back in those days you had a trout season, and you could fish from mid-April until, I can't quite remember, I think it was actually mid-June. It might have gone to July, but I kind of think mid-June, way back. And I look at today, and Pine Creek is literally open to trout fishing year-round. There's a no-kill period or section right here in Slate Run area. That's no-kill year-round. But then we have other areas that north and south of the no-kill where you can have a limited harvest, and you can even fish on stocking day. You just aren't allowed to harvest fish. So it's kind of neat how we've evolved over the years to where we are today, and we watch it. We've got an incredible trout fishing experience here in Pine Creek. It has worked with the Brown Trout Club's idea, and in cooperation with the Fish Commission, we've got a 2.8 mile no-kill area, and it's used heavily, except maybe in July and August it gets beat up. We've had a lot of water the last 2 years. We've had an incredible carryover of big fish. The big fish here, or the trout I should say, on Pine Creek are kind of like the deer in the winter. The deer in the winter have to move to where the feed is, and they migrate willingly and follow the feed. The trout here in Pine Creek in the summer find the dissolved oxygen, and they migrate and find it, and when it improves in the overall section, they move back out into the water again. So it's a neat experiment that has proven successful. We've had wonderful water the past few years. That will change, and we will have extreme drought one of these years. Could be this coming year. I checked the records the other day when Pine Creek was running at 10,000 cubic feet per second in 1965. On that day it was running at 26 cubic feet per second. So give you an idea, we are living with extremes, and that's okay. Normal weather is just an average of all of those extremes, and that's what our weather is. So we will get beat up in the future, but we will enjoy it while we have it, and we'll live through and we'll reestablish the population again. So thank you for all of your support in the past, and hopefully you get to fish it and enjoy it. But what I want to talk about today is the winter fishing. And winter fishing on freestone streams can get very challenging. And I look back over my life, and I used to fish out in Montana with a very close friend of mine, Nick Nicholas. And we'd be standing there in the Madison, and I'd look up and there'd be snow everywhere. I'd look upriver at Nick, and he'd be standing there. And of course, Nick was about 6'4" and wore a cowboy hat and had a beard, and he'd have icicles hanging off his beard. And he wore those little wool fingerless gloves, and they'd have icicles hanging off of those. And I'd be down there freezing to death with my little Johnny hand warmer in my waders and a towel to dry my hands and then rewarm them. And I guess it's just poor circulation in the fingers, or maybe I'm a wimp. But I look and I'd say, for God's sake, Nick, aren't you cold? And he'd look at me hesitantly and kind of squint his eyes and shake his head and say, no, I'm not cold. And I'd go back to fishing again. But I'm not a winter fisherman. I'm a fair weather fisherman, and love it, and have wonderful memories. But we have people that I see all winter long coming in here. If there's any running water, even with slush drifting by, they're out there fishing and experiencing trout fishing and loving every minute of it. And If he's watching today, Bobby McCullough, the son of Bob McCullough, who started the restoration of Pine Creek in the mid-'80s, well, his son fishes it, and he comes in and he's got duct tape on his waders, and I look at him and he's just happy. He's smiling, he's enjoying life, he's enjoying trout fishing. So I don't know how many of you are out there. I know there's not near as many as the overall wimpy spring and fall trout fishermen, but there's a lot of people that just simply enjoy getting out in the water and fishing. So I hope you're one of them. We have learned how to fish in high water. I've watched fly fishing. I've been in this business 45 years, but I started as I was in single digits. I can't remember when I was 8 or 9 when my mother gave me my first Knoll fly tying kit and a 10.5 foot Phillips and fiberglass fly rod with an Ocean City fly reel and a level line. I thought I was in heaven. I loved it. But you know, things have evolved over the years, and we have incredible equipment today. We don't catch any more trout, but we love our equipment more, and we spend a lot more money on it. But it's we keep thinking, this technical advantage. I'm going to find the technical advantage, and I will be catching more trout. Most of it is just general knowledge that we have to learn and learn how to apply it to our sport fishing. So at any rate, we're moving into winter. If you're that so intent, come on up and get out there in the water and enjoy it. There's lots and lots of just big brown trout out there. Yesterday the stream was running a little over 4 feet, and I walked out to get in my Jeep to head home for a short period, and a gentleman got out of his car and said, he said, I just caught a beautiful brown trout out there. And he was from Virginia, I believe, and he was thrilled. And we talked about the size, the length, the coloration, and coloration's a big deal. When we catch fish, we want it to look like a wild fish. We know they're stock fish, but it's really nice to have it look like an actual trout, the coloration that it should have. John is filming this for me. He showed me a picture yesterday of a genuine measured 12-inch brook trout, male. He was gorgeous. So he was caught up in the headwaters of Slate Run, even though we had near flood conditions. Well, we had flood conditions. Pine Creek was running at 7 feet, but the people that know how to deal with it have learned that over the years, and they catch trout. So come up, enjoy the fishing. Please support the club. We can't do this without your financial support. And I can't say anything more than we've had a great season, a lot of high water to deal with, but we're learning how to deal with those conditions. So over the years, I've watched the sport evolve, and people are getting better and better and better at the sport. So come up, enjoy it, support the club, and we'll see you whenever, whether it's this winter or in the spring. Thank you.